Hi everyone, this is Herb, and I wanted to kind of show you how I handle engraving something that I've already made that has a preset engraving area on it. For instance, I have this comb here that I make, these beard combs, and they have this rectangular area right there that's intended to allow me to engrave custom text on there. So what I essentially did is I made an engraving template, and you can see on this canvas here, you can see that I've got this shape of my beard comb, and it's centered in the grid, in the XCS software. And then I ended up cutting it out of a piece of hardboard so I can set the comb in there later and actually do the engrave. So let me go show you that real quick. So some tips on this is to make everything repeatable. So I make sure that I push the grid, the honeycomb, all the way that way into that corner, up and left as far as I can until it stops. And then when I place my wood to cut my template in, I did the same thing. I made sure it was all the way to the left and top of the honeycomb. Then, of course, put the hold downs in there to make sure it was stayed in place. So now what that does is it enables me to put that comb in that template and be able to engrave in that area directly from the software. Now, one thing I will tell you that I do, because these combs vary in height and thickness because it's cut from natural materials and all that stuff, so I go ahead and put a comb in there run my auto measure on the comb itself. Actually, I'm in the wrong tab now. I got to go back to another. Yeah, I was back at 5.4. Just to keep it there. Okay, so now I go back to my engraving tab, and see, you can see right there that is set at the place where it would be in the software. And this is just some stuff to make sure I get the numbers right in case it moves. And I've got the box, and I've got a piece of text in there. So if I do a refresh here, do an auto measure, okay, that's going to give me the height of that surface. So now I can go back to here. Everything's pushed up top left, so it's all repeatable. Everything is top left. Drop in these magnetic hold downs here, and then another one over here just to make sure it's in place, it doesn't move. And now that that's there, now I can put my comb, make sure everything's out of no debris in there. Now I can put my comb back in, close it down. Now I can go over to this screen, and I can change that text, and okay, that's what it says. And of course it's not centered where it needs to be, so let's see if I can get creative here. Hold down my control key so I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to get that text centered. You can see it grab the center node of that box. And now that's going to go in. I'm going to mess with the height a little bit because I think they're a little bit too small in my previous runs. So I got to do that again, make sure it's centered. Okay, do the process, and I always do a framing just to make sure. I don't know if we can watch it or not with the camera, but oops, let me plug my extra lights in over here. I forgot about that. Let's do it again. Hit the button again. All right, it's right on where it's supposed to go. Okay, so that's good. Come back here, framing complete, start, and start. Let me turn my fan on. Let me turn my air assist on. Good thing. engraves on objects that I've already made using a jig that's made specifically for that purpose. You can use the same technique for anything you want to do like this. Now, again, some tips is make sure everything you do is repeatable. So go to a certain spot in the grid. Make sure that you push everything up to where it's not moving. You know, like I do all that stuff to the top left every single time. Make sure you do all those kinds of things to make sure it's repeatable.